What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Mid-Level Media channel, your hub for everything physical media and entertainment. I am Ken, and today, guys, we are here to dive into Enter the Dragon on 4K, this latest 4K release from Warner Brothers. It just came out on August the 8th. It is available right now. I'll be leaving a link for pre-order down below in the description. This was a first-time watch for me, so I'm very excited to talk about this film, the transfer, the sound, the special, well, we'll get to that. We'll get to that part, and the packaging. I'm going to paint an overall picture, guys, of whether or not this is worth a pickup. And look, I'll go ahead and say this. There's a lot of positive things to say about this, a lot of extremely positive things to say about this release. There's also a lot of negatives to say about this release as well. So we're going to get into all that in this video here today. But before we do, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. We talk about physical media here, Blu-rays, 4Ks, owning the movies that you love, all that stuff there behind me pretty much every single day. So if you like that kind of thing, if that's your jam, then hit that subscribe button. So, all right, let's go ahead and get into Enter the Dragon. So I'm going to start off with, I'm trying to start breaking these reviews down to like positives and negatives, guys. So we'll start with the positives. First off, like I said, this is a first-time watch for me, a film from 1973 celebrating its 50th anniversary with this release right here. Never seen the movie. I don't know, guys. I've never grown up watching Kung Fu movies. I'm not very well versed in the genre, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And Bruce Lee, I've never seen a Bruce Lee movie. And I'm sure that some of you all will say to yourselves, Ken, how do you have a movie channel? How are you talking movies and have never seen a Bruce Lee film? Well, you know what? I corrected that now. So now I've earned my spot here on YouTube because I've now seen Enter the Dragon. I don't know. I've never gotten into Kung Fu. I love Tarantino, and I know he has a lot of Kung Fu influence in his movies. So when I go back and actually watch these movies, I generally enjoy them. I watched the Lady Whirlwind movies from Arrow Video earlier this year, and I was very happy to see Angela Mao show up in this film because she kicked ass. I was just kind of disappointed she wasn't in it as much as I would have liked her to be. So yeah, overall though, I really enjoyed this movie a lot. And I don't know why, like, I don't watch more Kung Fu, because pretty much everyone I watch, like I said, I usually end up enjoying a lot. And this one definitely lived up to the hype. I can understand why it is the classic, the revered classic that it is, because growing up, like, you hear about Bruce Lee, you hear about Enter the Dragon, that's like everything. This is such a popular movie, such a big movie. Like in the US, it was a huge box office sensation back when it came out. So it was successful everywhere, all around the world when this movie came out. Bruce Lee became a legend because of this movie. Unfortunately, he passed away, I think, before the movie released, if I'm not mistaken. I think he got to see the movie before it was released, but I think before the movie actually came out is when Bruce Lee passed away. So very unfortunate there. Again, like I said, first Bruce Lee film. He was awesome in this movie. Again, I understand. I want to watch more Bruce Lee films. I kind of want to get that damn Arrow set now and spend like hundreds of dollars to import that Arrow set so I can watch more of his films in 4K. Or maybe I'll get the Criterion set, not go with the 4Ks. But he lived up to the hype for sure. He is jacked in this movie. Like, maybe he was in every movie that he was in, but like, I consider Sylvester Stallone, Rocky IV, to be like the peak male physique in a movie, in film. He's so jacked in that movie, but in this movie, I think Bruce Lee has him. Like, he's so lean, and he kicked major ass. Like, every scene with Bruce Lee in it, and just his mannerisms, the way he moves, and when he kind of revs up like this, and he goes, "Whoa!" and he jumps on something, like, man, it was so awesome. I loved it. I loved every second of it. So he was great. But John Saxon, who I grew up watching on Nightmare on Elm Street, those are like the main movies I knew him from. And now that I'm getting older and I'm watching more movies, and he's in a lot of Italian giallos, he's in Tenebrae, and I know he was in a lot of other horror films, but he was also in the Kung Fu genre as well. This guy really got around back in the 70s and 80s, but seeing John Saxon in this movie kick ass the way that he does was super cool as well. So I love seeing John Saxon in this movie kick ass. I need to watch more of his movies for sure. But Jim Kelly, who I think maybe this was his introduction into movies. I feel like at the beginning of the film, it said introducing Jim Kelly. He was awesome as well in the movie. I loved him, and I loved all three of them, their dynamic together throughout the film. I thought they were like three great leads. Like, Bruce Lee was definitely the star of the film, but they were great supporting leads in the movie. And yeah, I thought they were all great. So yeah, Jim Kelly, I just wanted to call that out. Great action throughout, interesting story. You know, the martial arts academy fronting for opium smuggling and prostitution. That's a cool angle to take. And it has a little bit of a revenge angle as well. because Angela Mao was his sister. And like I said, she's in a part of the movie, and there's something that happens with her, and Bruce Lee kind of is looking to take revenge on the villain of this film, who's also excellent, played by Han. I loved when he grabbed that bear claw looking thing, and then he put the knives on at the end, and it was kind of like Freddy Krueger a little bit, how he's going around slashing Bruce Lee. So awesome. I'm not trying to spoil the movie. I'm excited to talk about this movie. But Robert Klaus, great direction in this film. Just every shot in this movie just seemed like it had such artistry to it. I don't know, there's just something visually stunning about this entire film. In particular, the last like 20 minutes, the whole fight sequence at the end was so well choreographed as well. And then everything in the mirror room with Bruce Lee and Han at the end was just fantastic. So I enjoyed the direction. Again, I need to check out more of his movies, more Bruce Lee movies for sure. But yeah, it's a great movie. I loved this movie, really did love it. I'll give it a 4.5 out of 5. It's not a all the way masterpiece for me. I can't give it quite that perfect 5 out of 5, but I did enjoy it quite a bit. And I understand why it has such a legendary status in cinema for sure. Now getting into this transfer by Warner Brothers, this was an absolutely stunning 4K transfer. Warner Brothers, look guys, we can complain about it, and we will, on other things and other aspects and other areas of their physical media releases. You can't really complain about their transfers, because damn do they do a great job on a lot of their stuff that they put out. I just reviewed Rio Bravo last week, and that was a stunning release by Warner Brothers. But Enter the Dragon was just beautiful across the board. And there was no Dolby Vision. It was a native 4K transfer with HDR10. No Dolby Vision, but I don't feel like it missed a beat because of it. I still thought that HDR did so much for the look of this film, and the color is just spectacular. This is set on an island in a fortress, and the actual like palace, like when they're inside, like in the eating area, and they're all kind of mingling around and eating dinner and stuff. That whole area just looks so fantastic in 4K with the reds and the golds, and you got John Saxon wearing that yellow robe in the movie. That looks great. And all the facial detail is just fantastic. Like you can just make everything out on everybody. And it has a really great grain structure to it. Like there's a good amount of grain in it, but it's not overpowering. There's just enough there to remind you that you're watching a film. So it maintains that kind of filmic look from the 70s. So you feel like you're watching a movie that was in the 70s, but it's also like really cleared up, really cleaned up, and it just looks pristine, just looks fantastic. So I thought that this was an excellent 4K transfer. And the scenes, you know, where they're fighting at the end and Bruce Lee, you can just make out, guys, and I know this sounds kind of gross, but you can just make out every single bead of sweat on the bodies of the men when they're fighting, like when they're actually fighting as well. Like every single bead of sweat, like the final sequence where Bruce Lee and Han are fighting, you know, Bruce Lee is sweating, he's bleeding, and they do a close-up on him, and you can just see every single bead of sweat. Even when he's like jump kicking in the air, you can see it all. So you can make everything out, and I just thought it looked super crisp, clean, pristine across the board. Warner Brothers did a fantastic job with this restoration. Definitely did this film proud, I think for sure. And I had not seen the Blu-ray. Like I said, this is my first time watch, and they didn't include a Blu-ray in here for me to watch and compare it to. But I have to think that this is the best you will ever see Enter the Dragon. So I just can't see this getting any better than this release by Warner Brothers. So visually, this is the definitive 4K release for Enter the Dragon. Now getting into the audio, they upgraded the audio here. There's Dolby Atmos in this release, and I thought it sounded absolutely fantastic. It also has the 2.0 mono track as well. But it sounded great, and I didn't even know it had Dolby Atmos till we were about 20 minutes into it. I don't know why, I just assumed it was 5.1. And then I was like, wait a second, like these kicks are just like super loud. Every time somebody kicked or punched, you could just feel it. So I could just feel it coming through my sound system. I almost felt like I was getting kicked in the face at one point watching this movie. It was so loud and just in my face. But yeah, I thought that the Atmos track sounded wonderful, spectacular. The score is fantastic. You can make out and hear everything. Just sounded great. So great sound on this as well with the Dolby Atmos, and it's nice that they did upgrade it here. And getting into the packaging, there's also a steelbook option for this as well. I will link that down below. I think there might be still some available. It's a really nice looking steelbook from Warner Brothers. It's a Best Buy exclusive steelbook, but I don't know, guys, for my money, I really like this slipcover. And, you know, one of the few times where the gold 100 banner from Warner Brothers just really fits the actual slip itself with the yellows and the reds. I just think that that gold banner actually fits this cover, unlike Evil Dead Rise and some of the Exorcist is getting ready to come out. Unlike some of those other slips that don't really fit, this one actually perfectly fits Enter the Dragon. I just love the reds and the yellows, and I think it looks great. I love the artwork with Bruce Lee. Again, these are the three main characters of the film, and they're all great. And then you got the villain down there with Han. So some really good stuff. And on the back, you have the synopsis, you have some other images, and you have the specs and all that good stuff. And take it out of the slip right here, and you got the same artwork on the inside. And on the back, all the same stuff, but the casting list down below. And yeah, I really liked this. But get this, guys. You get a digital code inside as well. But get this. Disc art on a Warner Brothers release. Can you believe it? You got a dragon and it's red on this release. So I thought that that was super cool. I wish Warner Brothers would do more disc art on their stuff. And again, it's very simple. You know, it's not like a full artistic piece, but you have the red disc with some artwork on it. So I do think that is pretty cool. Now let's go ahead and get into some negatives, guys. We got some negatives. Look, we glowed about this release for long enough. Let's get into some negatives. There are no new special features here for one, but also all of the incredible special features that were in past releases are not included in this. You get the audio commentary. This kept the audio commentary. And the introduction by Lee's wife. So you can watch this with the introduction by Bruce Lee's wife, Linda Lee Cadwell. And I guess I can also say this does have the two cuts of the film. It has the theatrical cut and it has the special edition version cut as well, which I did watch the special edition version. I think it's like 101 minutes long. And the original cut, I think, is 89 minutes. So I went ahead and watched the special edition. And I'm not 100% sure like what the differences are. I just know that I watched the special edition and the stuff that was taken out of the film upon the initial theatrical release. So it was nice to include both cuts, and both cuts are in 4K as well. You get the choice to choose before you start the film. But besides that, the audio commentary, the introduction, and the two cuts, none of the special features, and there were tons of special features. There was a Blu-ray that came out in 2007 that had two full-length documentaries in it, guys. Two full-length documentaries, the Blu-ray that came out in 2007. Then there was a Blu-ray release for the 40th anniversary in 2013 that added 3 new featurettes. Now, this version did drop one of the documentaries, only kept one of the documentaries from the 2007 one. It dropped a Warrior's Journey, which was like a 100-minute long documentary. So this is not the first time Warner Brothers has dropped special features from their releases. In the 2013 version, people were complaining that they dropped the 100-minute documentary. So you have all these special features, these 2 documentaries, all this stuff that was created for the releases of this film, and it's not on the 50th anniversary, what's supposed to be the definitive version of this movie in 4K. You can't include all that stuff in your definitive release of Enter the Dragon. It just gets me fired up, guys. It gets me just pissed off. Like, what are you doing, Warner Brothers? This is your history. Be proud of your history. Be proud of your movies. Include these damn special features that a lot of people worked really hard on. A lot of people probably worked hard on these 2 documentaries, on these featurettes, and you're just erasing them from history. How does that make those people feel? But it's just, it's maddening, guys. Like, you have such an incredible release here. Atmos, visually it looks great. The movie's fantastic. I like the packaging, but you just can't include a Blu-ray in here. You don't even have to put the movie on Blu-ray. Just include an additional Blu-ray with all of those archival special features, and I think I would have been happy. And how much would that have cost, really? I just don't see why they do this, guys. It kills me. It really kills me. If this is supposed to be the definitive release, the 50th anniversary, why not have everything? You have to have everything, Warner Bros. I'm just tired of it. But there is, guys, look, now the Best Buy exclusive Steelbook only has the 4K as well. There's no Blu-ray in here, or the Steelbook, but there is an overseas Steelbook box set that's coming on the 18th, that has the Blu-ray, but this costs $84 if you want to get that. So it's a big box set. It has all the postcards and posters and booklets and all this kind of stuff, and it has the Blu-ray with the special features. Now this Blu-ray is probably the 2013 one, so it probably still doesn't have that Warrior's Journey. But you have to pay $84 for it. I just don't know, guys. Look, I I'm still, at the end of the day, this costs $23.79 currently to get this on 4K. And I think that that price point is low enough for me to justify recommending this release to you guys here today. So I think that this is, at the end of the day, a solid recommendation from me. But if it was any higher, if it was up to $29.99 like the Rio Bravo one was, then I don't know if I could recommend it, guys. And if you have the Blu-rays from back in the day, if you had that 2007 Blu-ray, if you had that 2013 Blu-ray, you have to keep them. You have to keep them, and you can't get rid of them, because even though this is probably going to be the only way you watch this movie on 4K, you have to keep those discs for those special features. And it's just, I just don't understand, why can't you put it in again? Can somebody explain it to me in the comment section below? Is it a cost thing? I don't know, guys. But look, at the end of the day, I can give this a solid recommendation. Hell of a movie. Hell of a transfer. It looks fantastic. Warner Brothers really did this movie justice on 4K. So I can recommend it at $23.79. I will link it down below in the description. So sorry guys, it got a little heated in here. It really did. I'm fired up. I'm hot right now talking about this movie, but I appreciate you guys watching. Like, comment, subscribe to the channel for all future videos, and follow me on all my social media accounts down below in the description, and we'll see you next time.